I want you guys to know something. I take the ranking of these lists super serial. I often have regrets almost immediately after uploading them, but that's just a testament to how seriously I take it. I think. I usually score each one based on some kind of scale, but I just as much make gut decisions. But ranking this list wasn't that hard. The struggle lied in choosing the type of list. Should I have done my personal favorites? Try to make an objective ranking? Or some weird mix of the two like the Dopest Marios?
That third thing!
So I'm Nintendo Dope Man, and these are the Dopest horror games. I played Alan Wake a long time ago with a friend because I never had an Xbox, and I don't remember much, but I know I liked it enough to give it a spot on the bottom. It was kinda like if Resident Evil 4 took place in Twin Peaks but starred Stephen King, which is kinda like if Deadly Premonition was more linear and only gave you a flashlight. So it's like Silent Hill with Luigi and write yourself into a corner as novelist Alan Wake, whose latest story eerily comes to life during his search for his missing wife. It's like if Shinji Mikami took everything he wanted to do with Resident Evil 4 and made a new IP with it. If only he could have just done that. However, there's also a lot of The Last of Us in the gameplay, and a lot of Silent Hill in the horror elements. You'll notice all of this as you guide Sebastian Castellano through this nightmarish game.
ちょうどこんな雨の降る放課後だったそうよ。
Corpse Party is awesome. It's like if Shantae was a spooky—
You're gonna have to not do that.
Actually, it's more of an old-school top-down adventure game with some RPG elements where you explore a haunted school as a bunch of cute anime kids.
I'm never going back in the old schoolhouse again.
They even made an anime.
We here at Gregory House are committed to providing the kind of relaxation and peace of mind that will make your very soul tremble.
Gregory Horror Show was a Japanese OVA, so it's technically an anime.
I'm so sorry. I probably shouldn't scare people like that.
For some reason, they didn't release this awesome game stateside. Explore the mysterious hotel known as Gregory House. Collect the souls of the strange and often dangerous guests. And I swear this is the last one. It's like if Picasso and David Lynch collabed on Parappa the Rapper.
Do you need a room for the night?
There's enough games like Outlast on this list that I nearly left it out, but it's too scary and too good to do that. This game is crazy. Investigate Mount Massive Asylum as freelance journalist Miles Upshur and unravel the thin line between the insane patients and the somehow more insane doctors. Oh yeah, this whole game is that one scene from 12 Monkeys.
I'm crazy as a loon.
Manhunt is one of the most controversial games of all time. Oh, that makes sense. When James Earl Cash's death penalty is faked, he is cast in a snuff film that takes him through Carcer City, the most dangerous city in America. Infamous for its brutal execution mechanic, Manhunt is often considered the Clockwork Orange of video games.
And what's so stinking about it?
What if I told you there was a 3D platformer about a spooky horror reimagining of Alice in Wonderland?
Perfect.
Alice Madness Returns. This game is so cool. I love Alice in Wonderland. It's known for being trippy and psychedelic, so add a horror element to that, collect stuff, fight stuff, and smoke stuff as you help Alice reconcile with her troubled past and save a Wonderland that feels like it was made by Tim Burton more than the one that he actually made.
She's stark, raving mad.
Fatal Frame is about cute anime girls taking photos of ghosts, the most overlooked member of the survival horror royal family, and the third game is like the Silent Hill 4 of the series. Absolve Rei Kurosawa of her survivor's guilt by guiding her betwixt her house and a haunted dream mansion that feels like it was sporadically constructed by opium addicts. Haunting Ground is a hidden horror gem and the rarest game I own. You play as Fiona Belly, a pretty young thing who must connect the dots between her parents, herself, and the strange world she was thrust into after a freak car accident. The game features overt themes of sexual objectification and a bizarre atmosphere, both of which are intensified by the lack of a combat system, where literally all you can do is run and hide. But the best part of this game ain't these puppies. It's this one. Huey the dog sniffs the secrets, battles the baddies, and progresses the path. Haunting Ground is considered a spiritual successor to Clock Tower, but it's better than that whole series combined. Silent Hill 4. The Fatal Frame 3 of Silent Hill.
That's the same fish! They just passed each other!
When Henry Townsend gets locked in his apartment by the guy who thinks the place is his mother, he must travel through holes in the walls leading to worlds of the guy's psyche to break the chains connecting them, the apartment, and Silent Hill.
I hope you get to hear it one day.
Alien Isolation is another game like Outlast, but it might be the scariest of its kind. All thanks to the AI of its alien. This game is
Crazy.
Investigate Ripley's disappearance as her daughter Amanda, but just be super fucking quiet about it. Speaking of Alien, Metroid isn't the only game to probably be influenced by it. Help Isaac Clarke slaughter and learn about some of the most grotesque aliens ever designed in one of the few good things to come out of Resident Evil 4. Speaking of which, I have mixed feelings about Resident Evil 4. On one hand, it's objectively awesome when judged on its own merit. On the other hand, it changed horror games from atmospheric think pieces to slightly spooky shooters. This is why I gave it 13th place. Right in the middle, where I don't know what to do with it. Guide Leon Kennedy through a rural European village to rescue the president's daughter after she was kidnapped by a cult infected by a mind-controlling parasite. I guess.
This fucking family.
Ah, now I can get that bad taste out of my mouth. Resident Evil 7 was like a homecoming for the series. It used the opposite region names as titles. Best of all, it was scary again. Instead of setting trends like fixed cameras or over-the-shoulder action, they took a cue from the most popular modern format, first person. Help Ethan save himself and his girlfriend Mia from herself and the mysterious Baker family. This game is like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects combined.
Yeah, 50-50.
The original first-person hide-and-seek horror game, which is really the third stylistic generation of horror games. My first memory of Amnesia was laughing my ass off at all those reaction videos before quickly thinking, okay, I cannot see too much of this, I have to play it. Since then, it's always been a favorite. Descend into the darkness to rediscover who, what, when, where, why, and how you are in this creepy castle infested with creepy monsters that you cannot fight, but only hide from. Which is kinda bullshit. I feel like I can take these bitches.
Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting.
The closest thing in this world to an M-rated Nintendo game is a masterpiece of Lovecraftian historical fiction, in which you play as several different characters in different locations and different time periods, all fighting against an ancient threat to humanity. It's famous for its fourth wall breaking scares, which kind of defeats their purpose, but I'm not even gonna try to make some comparison joke because there is truly nothing like this game.
Attention all citizens. You are advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station.
Resident Evil 2 had the tough job of following up the OG horror game, but it ended up becoming a legend on its own. Help Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield escape the Raccoon City Police Station either in the original PS1 version or the PS4 remake. The new one is technically better, but damn do I miss those camera angles.
This may be a one-way ride, so be prepared, Leon.
The original Fatal Frame is one of the scariest experiences ever. When Miku Hinasaki searches for her brother in the haunted Himuro mansion, she learns about its horrible past and their family's unfortunate connection to it.
Jill, over here!
Resident Evil 3 is probably my favorite Resi game. I think. Escaping an open-world Raccoon City as it's devoured by zombies sounds like a perfect adventure, but neither Jill nor the player get any time to enjoy it thanks to its central feature, Nemesis. Arguably the most famous Juggernaut character in all of gaming, same as Resi 2, I can recommend both versions of this if only for fixed cameras and historical reference, but either way, Resi 3 is basically Terminator with zombies.
You find her! That's what he does! That's all he does!
Silent Hill may not have been the first horror game, but it was the first truly scary one. Yeah, Resi was scary in its early days too, but this was different. This was the beginning of dark and disturbing atmospheres with cinematic approaches and influences from every horror-related thing under the moon. This was the start of Zelda-style gameplay. This was the genesis of deep and mysterious scenarios told through unsettling, surreal, and symbolic imagery. This is Silent Hill. And Harry Mason's journey through the haunted town to save his adopted daughter Cheryl has aged so well that the grimy PS1 graphics don't subtract from the experience, but in fact only serve to make it even creepier. After and before delving into a Silent Hill side story, Team Silent decided to bring the main story of Alessa Gillespie to a close. Silent Hill 3 features some of the series' most grotesque set pieces, saddest moments, and satisfying conclusions of any game, horror or not. Often dubbed the scariest video game of all time, Crimson Butterfly follows and sets the series traditions like a pair of strict Japanese music teachers. It follows Mio and Mayu Amakura as they try to escape a haunted village and its resident poltergeists. Featuring a small open-world village with 5 mansions to explore, more ghosts to capture before or since, and arguably the saddest story in an overall sad as fuck series, it's no wonder it's considered the best Fatal Frame.
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Barry, and myself. We don't know where Chris is.
The one that started it all. There were horror-ish games that came before, but this was the first that felt like the real deal. It even coined the term survival horror. Hardcore fans can relive the nostalgia, but the remake is so faithful and so polished that it makes it the scariest entry in the series. Survive the Umbrella Corps zombie-infested lair as Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield in the mother of all survival horror games the way it was meant to be experienced.
This is our routine. Day and night, all we do is survive. It never lets up.
Curveball? It shouldn't be. Think about it. It's absolutely a survival game. Surely it's a horror game. It's not that scary, but also it is. It's just overshadowed by how fun it is and its gripping story. Most horror games I play for the experience, but The Last of Us is an absolute blast to play again and again and again. And the graphics are so lifelike. I remember first watching the scene where Tess stays behind and thinking, did they actually film this? The real curveball is that this game even exists. Naughty Dog threw us all a curveball. And then another.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
The reigning champ. And you know I'm being objective because 3 is my favorite. Silent Hill 2 is a god amongst games. James Sunderland receives a letter from his wife Mary. Thing is, she's been dead for 3 years. She says she's waiting for him in their special place. The thing is, it's Silent Hill. Pyramid Head, brilliant level design, Pyramid Head, relatable characters, Pyramid Head, symbolism, sex, death, and Pyramid Head. James's search for his wife, himself, and the truth is as moving as it is haunting. And that's what makes Silent Hill 2 the dopest horror game.
I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
I'm not crazy about fantasy. The only exception I make is certain anime and Zelda. I like sci-fi, but sometimes it can get way up its own ass. But horror, now that's my shit. What's your favorite horror game? Let me know in the comments, smash the like button, and sub to the channel for more Halloween horror vids.